Hey everybody, this is Hard Pop. I'm just coming to y'all to talk for a minute again. I hardly can watch some of the black minds talk that are so-called thought leaders, or you think you thought leaders, or you have an opinion. That's fine. I'm on here too, but all I'm saying is that there's a lot, of us, a lot going on. There's a lot of going on. Let me say something. I don't really want to judge people. I try not to do that on my channel, but I'm gonna say something. I think Pan Africanism is a problem. Pan Africanism is a problem. It is. I mean, you got the Pan Africanists. Y'all got this passion. That's fine for other black people. That's fine, and and everything. And I do too. That I've been hurt and harmed when I see people doing things to blacks in Africa, and I want to see them doing well and everything and all that kind of sort. But I have the awakening and the conscious mind to realize that I'm not African. I have a strong African descent, like the other American Negro, the FBA ADOS. We all have a strong African presence because of it being a dominant gene in terms of blackness, and that's an amazing thing. That gives us our melanin, our intelligence. That gives us scientifically our beautiful intelligence. We've been amazing. However, the descendant of slavery in the United States is a people outside of Africa in terms of blood lineage, not just because we've been made to think different and been in a different struggle, a different anchor as descendants of slaves and as people were slaves and who built the country and engineered the country and been intelligent enough to uphold a first world nation and the most powerful nation in the whole global diaspora. So, we're people even outside of that. And that's what actually made us do what we're doing and how everything got to be where it is because of us being a people outside of Africa. And I'm not definitely not saying that the white man did anything good for us. I mean, what wrong mean, what nature means to be wrong for you can turn out for your very best. Just like they say when you go to church, what the devil mean for evil can turn out for your good, or will turn out for what the devil mean for evil. God will turn around for your good. And as a people, things have been turned around for our good as a people that are not necessarily a African people. Now, if you historically look up things, everybody came from Africa. Everybody came from that part of the realm of the earth, you know, as a red man, and every color can come from red, which is us. We are, red people, and it's not necessarily nobody, every color can come from black, from us, in terms of what the science point to black is, and that's red. Every color. So we are the mothers and fathers of the civilization and our strongest blood lineage, and that is being black. Now, as the world turned, being black is being black in a whole lot of different ways. Being black to us has been a win for the world, for society. So we and us being, just not even, I don't think we realize that we wake up and go to sleep from these wars. We wake up and go to sleep from the wars of white supremacy. We were woke right after slavery, right? So we built Black Wall Street. I mean, Mary J. McLeod built the Bethune Beach, and we built Rosewood, and we had Bruce's Beach, and they got that back, thank God, Bruce's Beach, and all these different towns and cities that white people were jealous of that no one else had, especially Africans didn't have it, especially South American people. No one had nothing that black people built right after slavery. So we are a special people, and we built the country and showed the white supremacists and the people that had captured and imprisoned us into slavery how to be a functioning society. And this is the wars of being who we are, and who we are in terms of also spiritual pain and everything. And somehow we happen to outdo every other nation in terms of building. So the United States won and was favorable with the most wealth because of us. Now, then you got us reaching back out with a benevolence to become African or Pan Africanist and going back over there doing good and this and that because we're treated a certain way here. But everything is here. Now, we can change that as a group because we're that powerful, but we don't have time to be divided. And then we got people who are Pan Africanists who are trying to come back to an African when the African is in tribalism and real tribalism, and they don't want to be African themselves. They want to come here and be African. They don't want to be African at home and taking pride in Africa. They want to come somewhere else and and benefit and then say, I'm African. This is what they're doing here. I think we don't understand how people um, ride our coattails. You want to come hear what we have done as a people naturally, and then build and benefit in the HBCUs, in the thought, in the think tanks, and in your career, and tell your children, and say that you now African. People come here and say, now I'm a Jew. People come to the United States where the American Negro, where FBA ADOS built, and then stake their claims and set the precedents of who they are inside our home and benefiting from our wins and our pain and our building. They did not do this in their home. See, this is what I think people are missing. And it even gets deeper where you didn't do this at home. Now, we were harmed and hurt and did wrong, burned and treated with racism, abused, rape, killed. I mean, just babies took out our mother's wombs and our females, but yet we stayed here and fought and we made ourselves a way even among wars. And we have wars and we have wins and go back to sleep, wins and go back to sleep because of being 14%, 10 to 14% of the nation in terms of number. And then we have a dominant society who has not chose to respect the laws in the Constitution according to us. It's not because we are nobody and haven't done it. We've done more than they have. We built this place. So why is black people running around, the not black people necessarily, the descendant of slave in America, running around trying to jump out our skin to go and say, we're going to pull this group in. We're going to go back and get ourselves. We're going to go to Africa and be Pan-Africans. We're going to win our culture. We have a culture. We created a damn culture that they want to come to and then have a pride in being African. They come to our culture to have a more comfortable life, to have a safety even. You don't understand, y'all. It's hard out there in these countries where we, see, and then it's hard out there. They come to us to be safe even. Now, we as a people can go in these places and endeavor because of who we are and what we suffered and how we have the DNA of this passed down to us. We're strong. We know how to do that. They are not us. I talked to an African that was at my job. I do administrative work. And he just came up to me and boldly said to me, and because I have a top tier exchange in terms of my expertise, he says, what country are you from? A lot of people think I'm Nigerian, but I'm not. I'm the American Negro in every sense. Slave descendants on both sides and all four sides of my family. I said, sir, I know people think I'm Nigerian. I said, but I'm from here. He got shocked. I was kind of offended because I knew where he was going. He said, you don't act like them, just like a white person would say. I said, sir, what do you mean? He said, well, they're jealous of us and we got education and I don't understand the black American. I said, sir, I said, well, I let him talk and he said, and we don't have a problem with white people. He went on and on like that. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, everybody, you don't like us. They don't like, and all this. He said, he asked me, why was that? I said, sir, I don't think it's that. I said, I think there's a misunderstanding. And he said, well, we come here, we get educated. I said, sir, this is a first world nation that black people, that, the American Negro built. I said, and we have had wars with the white supremacists in this country where we built it. I named some things that he understood and knew. I had some knowledge enough to correct and educate him. And he was shocked. I said, listen, have you heard about Piney Woods Boarding School in Mississippi? He knew about that. Piney Woods Country Life School, because Africans go there because it's the most educational institutional that belongs to blacks and high curricular. And they send their children in Mississippi, Africans do, to go to that school. Well, my uncle was the recruiter to that school, and Mary Jane McLeod's niece is the director of the Cotton Blossoms in that school, and I know these people. And my first cousin became the mayor, first black mayor around that county, who's also known these people. And my family went to that school, and he looked at me shocked because he had ran up on a FBA ADOS American Negro who understood and knew these things, and he was shocked. And I saw him for what he was. And I also said to him, my grandmother graduated from a college in 1935. And I told him we built towns and cities right after slavery, and people were jealous, and we had wars against people. And that, this country is a first world nation. And that when people come here, they can do a lot here, but not where they're from. And when they come here, they look at us and say things to us because of the attacks that we've had in the country, and not really get familiar with who we are historically and not truly know who we are. I also announced to him that now we're really not African. We have a strong African descent, but we are mostly and largely mulatto people in terms of blackness. We are a different kind. We are descendant of slavery. And he was just like, wow. He didn't expect me to articulate that conversation in that sense. And that was offensive, but I didn't allow it to show. And he said, wow. He said, well, why are you mad at us and different things? I said, well, if you come to this country with a presumptuous tone about who we are, and saying that you don't have a problem with our oppressor that has been documented, well documented in invoices of who they are, then of course you're not going to get a receptive tone from a group of people that you're talking to with a presumptionist. I said, that's the confusion coming in. He said, well, white people don't give us problems. And I said, well, probably because they don't owe you anything. I said, way by Constitution, they owe us a lot of things that they have taken from us, and a lot of insertions that they have done to us inside our communities, even in terms of putting crack cocaine in our communities, using the CIA with the white reporter writing a story named Gary Webb, who was assassinated. He just got quiet. His lips even started to get dry. This man had dried up. All the liquids in his body, he needed some water. He didn't understand how I was articulating this well, because our people have been made to be lost in such a way. I said, Black American have lost its projection. I mean, its progressiveness in terms of political capital, and started to maybe get rich playing basketball, acting, singing, or dancing inside a first world nation. And, then not paying attention into our politics, and largely the community went blind in dysfunction according to wars from white supremacy, and not truly being corrected way by Constitution. And when you come to this country and you project something that you really don't know, and you maybe presumptuous about it, then you expect to have a receptive tone from a people who know who they are, and from a people who've largely been somewhere all their life, and not only been there, who are the product of it in terms of even having white ancestry, native ancestry. My grandmama was a Blackfoot Indian. Now I'm still African descent. I have African that came over, and I know who they are, that they were slaves, or one was supposed to be a slave, but she had an Irish mistress, and she had 11 children by him, and that was my great-great-grandmother, and her name was Dosha Bell. And I told him about that, and he was Irish. And I said, I have all the pictures and it's all in my family. Some of us have freckles. We are black people here. That's who we are. We can't change that. And I said, so people come here and they think they know us in terms of what white folks would say and what media would say, and your ideas is not truly the reality in which the way we exist, and also you yourself when you come to this country, because it's built from us and the wealth was generated from us. And I said, the scientific facts, when it comes down to things, is totally different from what they have written. They say we have a low IQ. I said, but we invented everything that's cushioned in this country and that the world used. He said, you're right. He had to agree with me. I said, but yet the white supremacists say they have a high IQ and that Asians have a high IQ. But if you look at the proof in the writing on the wall and the proof in the pudding, you will know who have the real high IQ. And it's the descendant of slave, the American Negro, FBA ADOS. And that's what I told him. I said, and that's just the way it is. It's nothing about whether or not someone's being mad at each other. Let's talk about truth. Let's speak truth to power. And I said, I want you to understand. So when you go forth, you'll have a better understanding of why these things are taking place and how you should probably present yourself in the matter, since you brought it to me. He was shocked. He hung around me like he was a little boy, and this man was 10 to 20 years older than me. And I said, sir, you are a black man from Africa and Nigeria. You feel that you're educated? And I talked to him and I said, you are, but you're educated on things that were born and that my people and our people as black people did fight for, including Fannie Lou Hamer, who had a third grade education from Mississippi. I was naming people. I said, our blood is in this flag. We are the founders of this country. In every sense, we are the epitome of America. I said, but you come here and you think that we're just Africans that were slaves and that are jealous of Africans who come here and do good. I said, there's much more to us than that. And I think there's a misunderstanding with that. And you need to probably understand who we are also before you make any assumptions and spew any rhetoric. And then you have black people who don't articulate things as maybe as good as I just did for you. So they're going to want to say something and you're going to want to say something. And then the division is there. He said, well, why white people don't have any problem with us and what? I said, because they don't owe you anything. You're not a problem. You come here to demean you. What you do, they can say, why did not do that? But I'm not you. And they know it. I'm different. They owe me. I'm a different people. I'm supposed to have an inheritance. I'm supposed to have ownership. I've done things here. Better yet, I was telling him, I've done more than you in this country. This is not his country. He's from Africa. He's Nigerian. But he's projecting his thoughts upon me because I'm not in power. White supremacy is in power. So he get his idea from the people of power, but not from the people that he benefit from. And that's us. He don't benefit from white supremacy. That Nigerians benefit from me. But white supremacists are still in power, and they can call in shots and they can derail the media and they can cause narrative and confuse the people at large. But this is where it stops. And we are the ones who are giving that man liberty that was talking to me and anybody else that's from this other country to be here in the way of every sense we're giving the liberty by building stuff and he could have won this argument if I didn't have any knowledge. I even told him about Piney Woods Country Life School, where all the Africans go. Most people don't know about that, but my family went there. This man was shocked. He followed me around all day. I called one of my boys to come to watch it because my job, I can call people over and they can come in. He said, he following you. And, I gave him water. He bought me a strawberry Fanta. He was following me like a kid. And then he told me at the end of the night, thank you, brother. Thank you. Like he was shocked. But I still don't trust that because I don't know him in that sense. He's a tribalism person. I don't really know him, but I appreciate it for saying thank you. He followed me around because he did not expect for me to articulate language in that way where he had no argument necessary and that kind of prestige and understanding. I knew this African Nigerian, he knew who Mary Jane McLeod Bethune was. He knew who a lot of people were. historically, but he kept saying that we had problems. I said that's mayors in every city and governors that are black people largely. However, I said there when we look at them now today, we see them as overseers. They are overseers. They don't practice self-preservation, and they are doing what the white supremacists want to do because they have a cushioned seat in government or high society, and this is what we're doing now. I said we have to even deal with them and pull them out the way so that we largely can protect our community and our cities and families. Because I told him, I said, but though, if we're not doing so good, why is there black mayors and governors everywhere, all over the place? And our HBCUs, people benefit from all over the world. I told him not only African benefit from it, but the white Hispanic are going there. And all these groups that are immigration and white people. He was shocked. But we have a lot more we can talk about who is us. And I told him, I said, and be careful because white supremacy will treat you with racism, but they cannot harm you the same way they harm me because I'm owed, they owe me, and this is my country that they're living in. You're here as a liberty. You're here to be something more than what you were. This is my country. I'm the epitome of it. I'm the soil, and you know, this is me. You're here. And I let them know that when the Haitians came, they got turned around at the border. That's a symbolism of white supremacy and what they've done to the Haitians. But the white Hispanic is allowed to come here illegally and win off of my tax dollars. And I said, there are groups in my country which I built who are tax free, and I am descendant of slavery. And this is illegal way by Constitution. Now, whatever is benefiting from everyone comes out of my check. And I am a descendant of slavery. Every city I go in has a plantation to mirror my sufferings. And this country that I built, the first world nation. He had to listen. But thank you for joining me. I needed to come talk to my people. I love all of you. Keep your straight head up. Thank you guys out there. FBA ADOS Black First.